Boom! What's going on, everybody? It's early morning here on June 29th, and bear with me. I'm still getting my space situated here. I got to figure out what I want to do with it all. These are pretty neat. I like these maps that I found, but they're pretty tacky there. Get it? Got to get some frames for these. I got to get my desk here, and just bear with me. Bear with me with all this. And bear with me, too, because I bruised my ribs pretty good a couple of days ago playing some soccer, so sneezing's tough, coughing's not fun. I can not really extend my arm fully overhead, so all that's cool though. Anyway, what I want to talk about in this video, we're just going to go over Q's posts. There's been like 40 or 50 of them over the past couple days, and of course they go hand in hand with the current events and giving us the behind the scenes, the truer perspective. So let's just go ahead and get down to business, everybody. I think one of the favorite comments I ever got under one of my videos was when I took a short break, maybe 3 or 4 days from making one, and I uploaded one, and somebody commented under it, and they said, "I needed your videos in my life because of that intro music." Cracked me up. Anyway, before we get down to business, just want to give a huge thanks and a huge shout out to a sponsor of this channel in Trade Genius Academy. These guys are master cryptocurrency traders. So if you want to get started in investing in cryptocurrency, but you have no idea where to go or how to get started, check out Trade Genius. They have algorithms, programs they'll give you where they just send you messages and exactly where to invest your money and in what, and it's just a click of the button for you. And these algorithms have a 90% win rate, so it's super duper easy. And they even have personalized one-on-one coaching programs if you want something that in-depth and for them to hold your hand through the whole process. So go check them out. They'll get you a great return on your crypto investments, and they have some specials going on to the end of the month, a lot of 50% off specials on their services. So go check them out, tradegeniusacademy.com. Now let's get into talking about Q. So we're going to start here on June 27th, which was Wednesday morning, with post 1602. And like I said, there's been so many of them that this is just where I'm picking up the ball. And in this post 1602, and Anon, remember Anons are who we call the people perusing and doing the researching and posting on the 8chan boards there, really kind of taking it back to basics in this video with a lot of new eyes coming across this topic. So an Anon who was posting on the 8chan boards posted this screenshot of Donald Trump Jr.'s tweet. It says, "Congrats to the Democrats who, after last night, are officially the party of impeachment, open borders, abolishing ICE, and all of this. The Democrat Party of John F. Kennedy is dead." That's a big statement. I was wowed by that one. R.I.P. The Anon said, "This tweet struck me as odd, almost as if it were a marker of some sorts. Interesting." And then Q says, "If you continue to proceed down this dangerous path, only know that we are prepared." That looks like it's a message to the bad actors reading these. "You should know this based on earlier drops regarding Saudi Arabia, National Guard, and military assets activated on U.S. soil. The game is over when the public knows. The fight to keep the lights off is all that matters to you." Lights off meaning us, uninformed on a mass scale. "They will fail because we're awake. They lost control. We're not sheep anymore. You underestimate their resolve," meaning the bad actors underestimate our resolve and our ability to free think away from the pipeline narrative. "They will declassify. The white hats will declassify everything. They'll shine a light. Nowhere to hide. Red wave, white squall, and God we trust." And then again, going off that, "If you are smart or stupid, you know what just occurred at the meeting in Russia. Attempts to frame Russia, POTUS, optics, are failing and will soon be exposed." Optics are what we see superficially on the mainstream level. So they're trying to make up this Russia collusion, make up all this. That's the optics to hide what's going on underneath. "Bolton and Putin should scare you. Objective is to keep the president away from Putin. Has failed. Enemies are allies." If you've been following my channel for quite some time, about a little over a year ago, the very first video I did with a whiteboard called "Trump and Putin Trolling the World." And I'll see if I have that file somewhere. I'll re-upload it. I wish I could link it, of course, but they took my main channel down and have yet to give it back. But Trump and Putin trolling the world, guys. Optics. Everything is optics. So on the superficial level, they have to make it look like Putin and Trump are at odds with each other or aren't working together. But behind the scenes, I'm sure they are. Evil has no place here. America is no longer for sale. I would say the world is no longer for sale. The age of taxing our citizens across the world while entry to our markets is free is over. The world will unite in this cause. Forced immigration pushers will be exposed. God wins. Read the Bible, Q says. I'm sure a lot of people that make up the Q team are very Christian, which is great. They're believing in faith in something greater than themselves and a positive force. I myself grew up hardcore atheist. That shocks some people sometimes when I tell them that. I'm like, yeah, man, when I was in high school and college, I was like hardcore atheist. But of course, researching science, actually, the scientific understandings of consciousness and of course, what they don't tell us in the mainstream, that's what woke my mind up to a sort of God or sort of intelligent divine infinity. I just have a different perspective on it than most do. But not only if you read the Bible, if you read so many different ancient texts or listen to different prophecies from indigenous peoples and native peoples from around the world, there's an archetypal structure to all of these stories. That's why the work of Joseph Campbell and Carl Jung fascinate me, because they don't just compartmentalize on one ancient theology. They look at all of them, how they all connect, and the blueprint of all of them, the structure they all follow, and there is a win. We are entering a golden age, an age of Aquarius, the call it whatever you want, right? Ascension is happening. The apocalypse is happening. The apocalypse meaning revealing that's been hidden, not the end of the world. So many different names for all the same concepts. We're going to win. Good is going to win. And understand that, guys. That's why I'm always so positive as well, because I know what's going to happen. I understand I don't even want to call them prophecies, because that invokes a bad connotation I don't want, but it's all going to follow a plan, right? Trust the plan is so much greater than even what the Q team is doing right now. There's a universal plan that God or the divine has for all life here, and I have faith that that's what's going on. Anyway, 1604. Let's get on track here. I can always tangent away. You know me. We stand with the good people of Iran who are currently battling their installed regime for freedom. The people have the power, rise up and demand they be removed. This line is crucial. This line is very important to read and understand. At some point, military generals will act with the will of the people simply because their soldiers are the same people and have no choice. So this is why the people have the power, okay? There's a lot of bad actors in the military-industrial complex, I'm sure, at the top of military levels, Air Force, likely some in the Navy, like all three letters, all military organizations, government, corporate, name it, right? The evil has infiltrated the top levels, but there is good. When there is bad, there is good. That's just the nature of polarity. And there's good people at these high levels that want to expose all of this stuff. Generals, I would say even many CEOs and people in government and politicians, there are good people that want to free us, help us attain our freedom, their freedom as well. So, yeah, we rise up. We will force the military generals to act, and the people at the top levels. They stand with us. They are monitoring the situation closely. Thank you, White Hats Q team. And then in post 1605, this looks like to be a transcript of the testimony of Peter Strzok to Congress that happened a couple days ago. So PS being Peter Strzok being asked about his texts in front of Congress. And then you can read here in the quotes, it looks like to be a transcript from it. Now, remember, these were closed door hearings, so we don't know what was said, but hot damn, it would be quite a trip if the transcript was put out, declassified on a public level in the very near future, and this is exactly what was said. Ha! That would be great, right? What a great confirmation we would have there. Post 1606. This is a screenshot from a Trump tweet discussing how it was a closed hearing, saying, what the hell? There should be total transparency between this conversation of Peter Strzok and Congress. Like, what the heck's going on? I agree. And right here, we have a letter from Justice Kennedy to the president. So we have this news story that broke a couple days ago, and here's Zero Hedge reporting on it. Democrats melt down over Supreme Court vacancies. So Justice Anthony Kennedy steps down, giving we'll call it Republicans, the conservatives, an extra seat on the Supreme Court. And this is bad news. I don't want to say for the Democrats, of course, that's fitting into the duality there, but we'll just say the deep state agenda. Very bad news there, because more power for the alliance. And then Q says his choice? Probably not. He was probably forced to step down, put into submission. Remember, Kennedy was the swing vote, no more locked and loaded. RBG next. That is Ginsburg, another seat on the Supreme Court. So she's old, and I'm sure she'll be put down to submission or taken out in some way, shape, or form from her seat. Right here, 1608. I will not be filing for re-election to Congress nor seeking any other political or elected office. Instead, I will be returning to the justice system. Gowdy, Trey Gowdy, said in a statement. Should we add him to the list? And this is interesting. I've always, just me personally, I've always been a fan of Trey Gowdy. Like, yeah, he's a badass. He looks like a white hat to me. Q saying, should we add his name to the list, meaning the list of CEOs and high-level officials from all across the board resigning, right? The ones that are resigning, the ones who are bad actors who've been calling it quits. And this is odd to me because I'm like, is Trey Gowdy a bad guy? Is he a bad actor? I don't know. I think there's some optics even with this question. And I always felt like Gowdy said this, that he's not going to stay in politics anymore. He's going to return to the justice system. Because what if he attained some prosecutor level position or some high level position in the justice system, start being activated there to take down the deep state? That was my 4D thinking with this all. But again, we can continue to decipher what's going on there. But again, I wonder what Trey Gowdy is really going to be walking into. And these next couple posts, look here. So Q is basically reiterating all of the bullshit we're seeing from the mainstream media and then what's really going on. So are you awake? Mainstream media is a propaganda tool of the D party. A lot of people are going to take that as Democrat Party. I'm just going to say deep state party. Again, getting out of those label identification programs that a lot of people get into. POTUS economy, not good enough. Impeach, that's what they're saying in the mainstream media. POTUS, he's creating jobs, a record, but it's not good enough for him, impeach him. POTUS, fair trade, protect America, get out of NAFTA and all these bullshit deals, not good enough, impeach. Manufacturing, tax reform, save the world from North Korea, stock market gains, boost energy dominance. I would still like to see free energy disclosed, though. I'm sure that's on its way. U.S. protect homeland, combating opioids, not good enough. Accountability, check this out. Audit of the Pentagon. I like that that was mentioned again. A lot of people actually are still unaware that that's going on. We haven't heard much from that in a few months, but I'm sure that's a bomb ready to be dropped, is the fact that the Pentagon is undergoing its first audit ever right now. Reorganize executive branch. It's all not good enough. It's all not good enough. Impeach him. But all while under constant attack, he's doing these things. The whole movement, the whole white hat team, the administration, right? It's all progressing through the attacks. The truth is spreading. Do you not believe they are losing their slave grip? Do you not believe we are winning? And right here, Q links a Breitbart article. Breitbart. Potato, potato. 72% of Americans believe the establishment media is intentionally reporting fake news. Where we go one, we go all. So there you go, guys. Moving on. Sounds familiar. Peter Strzok questioned by lawmakers. Sarah Carter. And Sarah Carter is one of those reporters who I believe is getting certain talking points, certain intel drops from these white hats. I think she is on, briefed in some way, shape, or form. I think there was a Q post a few months ago that mentioned that she was a journalist under protection, potentially. So there's that. Post 1612. Right here, so Trump held an event in North Dakota. Q saying, just landed, you have time, to an anon that says, Q, not now. We are listening to some North Dakota guy talking before Trump speaks. So Q just kind of trolling him in a funny way, saying, they just landed, you have time. With the president right there, these guys are. Goodlot on Fox. FBI attorney instructing Peter Strzok not to answer regarding text not believable. Sound familiar? They just keep denying. They keep trying to run away from the truth because they don't want to expose themselves. Rest assured, justice will be served. Here's some pics from North Dakota. We have a family here with Q t-shirts at the rally. We see you. So many VIPs at the rally. Amazing here. And then another family with all Q shirts. I got to get on those Q shirts, man. I'll let you guys know when I get a couple up on my Spreadshirt store. Hashtag winning, Patriots one and all. So there's all of that. Post 1616, Q posting about the campaign official, the guy arrested on child sex abuse charges. So let's delve into that. Right here, we have this guy. His name is Joel Davis. He worked for the Clinton campaign as a campaigner on her trail before, and he was actually the head of a nonprofit foundation that was supposedly devoted to ending sexual violence. It was called the International Campaign to Stop Rape and Gender Violence and Conflict. Then this guy gets arrested and indicted for trying to meet up with an undercover agent who was posing as a child. He was trying to meet up with like a 12-year-old, this sick bastard. And dude was only 22. Oh my God. God. They're all kids. It's like babies trying to rape babies. It's disgusting. So that is breaking into the open. Q linking a Your Newswire article here. And normally I'm not a fan of Your Newswire and Neon Nettle because they post some truth mixed in with some disinformation. Very clickbaity. But in this case, they posted a good article here where really they just linked a lot of work from this Daily Mail article on it. So I'm okay with that. But anyway, these people are truly sick. This is all coming out in the open now. And we'll talk about the distractions that happened yesterday to take everybody's eyes away from those disclosures. Q then saying, why are they trying to normalize this? So shifting topic in post 1619, there was a Facebook survey asking users if they condone pedophilia. This was from a few months ago. This was from March when this happened. What is coming? Do they really believe this will ever be swallowed? Will the progressive left defend and support these actions once those guilty are brought to light? Damn good question. There's some egos that are going to need to be broken. But hey, that just needs to freaking happen. If they're not getting it, force it down their throat. And sometimes a reaction needs to be had. These people are sick. They do not love this country, nor just anybody in general. Themselves, other people. They don't love anything except feeding their ungrounded, sick ego. I was trying to not curse there. Post 1620. This who brought the bill to the floor, read between the lines, discussing what's going on in regards to all of the FBI and DOJ exposures right now that we continue talking about. This next post talking about what's going on in North Dakota again. So the guy that wore the shirt, remember the Q shirt that Trump pointed at in his Minnesota rally a few days ago, he was there in North Dakota again, got pointed at again by the president right there for noticing his shirt. Where is it? There's the eyes. There's the look. Boom. Another eye on it. So Q saying, where we go one, we go all. We remember you, Mr. VIP. Where did the storm derive from? Some things leave lasting impressions. Listen carefully. And then Q posting this video of a trailer to a movie with Jeff Bridges called White Squall from 1996. Excuse me. And if you listen to this, in this trailer, it says, where we go one, we go all, multiple times. And talking about a storm. So right there asking, where did it come from? Looks like the ideas may have surfaced from that trailer. Where did President made his statement about calm before the storm back in October, right before Q arrived? This is about 3 to 4 weeks, about a month before Q arrived, because Las Vegas happened. It was only about a week later that we had the president in the room with 15 military officials. He goes, the storm, calm before the storm right here. 3 weeks later, Q hops on the scene, and that was 8 months ago. I've been following it every day since then. So there we go. God, gives me chills more and more. Right here, we have front page. I don't know if this is front page. It's one of the main headlines from the Seattle Times yesterday. Seattle, making me proud for once. There you go. Trump urges North Dakota fans to, there's the basic headline of it, whatever they're saying. But look at this. Picture Q family right there. Are you ready? Q says. This shit's about to go mainstream on the biggest levels. It's going to be discredited on the biggest levels of mainstream, or try to be, and it's going to be confirmed, verified on the highest levels. So get ready. That's why Q's been asking you to get those proofs ready. Get yourselves ready all around, because we're going to be talking to many more people, much greater audience very soon, if not already. Right here, Q saying, again, trying to normalize, back to this topic of Netflix under fire for film critics, saying a documentary of theirs contained child pornography. Let's go to that. Netflix Under Fire for this documentary they had on, and it was depicting two children doing just weird shit to each other. I'm not even going to get into it and talk about it much, but it was just weird. You can look at this article if you'd like. Who just joined the board of Netflix? Susan Rice is the answer to that. Who pushed? What is coming? Isn't there also Soros money in Netflix? And they have their new show featuring the Obamas coming out soon. So there's a lot of weird tentacles in Netflix. So it's really odd when I see a lot of truth being exposed on Netflix, whether it's a true concept in plain sight on one of their massive productions like Stranger Things or Black Mirror, whatever the case is. I'm like, wow, they're disclosing stuff right there. And then I see good documentaries, good documentaries putting some hardcore truths out there on Netflix. I'm like, okay, maybe it's a good organization trying to seed our consciousness and disclose some things. But then there's all these weird connections with Soros and Rice and Obama and all that. And the normalization issue here, the weird shit. So it's really toss up. And I hope Netflix, because that's a massive way we're going to affect the public consciousness there, and is through all these media productions, the millions of people that watch Netflix. That's a massive way to influence a collective consciousness. So I really hope it gets cleaned up there, or we get keep getting that hard-hitting truth being able to be released through them, distributed through them. Post 1624, sick people, Q. I wish I could get these bastards. Q says, we are paying. Coming for them. Ha! 1625, another Breitbart report. Facebook investors consider a coup of CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Great. I really hope these social media platforms get cleaned up. This censorship, as you guys know, I've dealt with plenty of it from Amazon, from YouTube, from Facebook, all across the board. It's just sick stuff. It's true. Modern day book burning. So I do hope to just get my channel back, but even if that never happens, just to be released of the shadow banning would be great. Fair game, right? Let's play fair. Post 1626. The server. So Democratic senators who demanded today that Julian Assange's asylum be revoked in violation of international law. Bunch of senators signed on that. Q saying server or Julian Assange equals truth exposed regarding Seth Rich. Democrats, the Ds, or the deep staters, are in crisis mode. Imran Awan, that congressional spy ring is bigger than you can imagine. Putin and Uranium One will come out post-summit when Trump and Putin meet in Finland next month. That's been announced. After that now, Q's saying the Uranium One truth will come out, how it's actually the Democrats and the deep staters that are directly involved in that, not the Trump campaign and those officials. They will try to apply artificial mainstream media heat to cancel that event because they're scared. These people are corrupt beyond belief. America for Sale sold out. Getting up into these next posts. Reuters reporter blames President Trump for shooting on Maryland newspaper office. Let's talk that. So just yesterday, developing multiple deaths, a suspect caught after reports of shots fired outside a Maryland newspaper office. And it's just like freaking clockwork, guys. This event happens for multiple reasons. A kind of psychological operation like this, they can call for gun control, scares the crap out of people. This happening at a newspaper office, they can start blaming whether it's the Trump campaign or the fans of Trump, the Trump followers, or whatever the case is. They're trying to shift the narrative and the blame on them in some way, saying they called for it, they're violent people. The conspiracy theorists are crazy, something to that effect. Shit, watch them try to blame it on a QAnon supporter or something. I wouldn't even doubt that. That just fits perfectly into their discrediting and their narrative they're trying to bring about right now. And then Q says, low IQ Maxine should be blamed. They know exactly what they were doing. Psychological games. Q says, coincidence? How Comey intervened to kill WikiLeaks immunity deal? Not at all. J.A. Julian Assange in the news a lot lately out of nowhere because Endgame. It's going to be exposed soon. Q says in post 1629 now, law enforcement should interview the therapists of these shooters. Very good statement there. Each shooter has one coincidentally. Targets, relocation within 30 days of each shooting, new name. This thing keeps loading. FBI doesn't know this. Spooks are hard to find, dream to reality. Right here, Q then asks, why are Freemasons on the scene of most shooting locations? Openly giving interviews or in background shots, symbolism will be their downfall. And then this is a screenshot from the San Bernardino shooting, screenshot from Santa Fe. all these little Freemason symbols everywhere. Everywhere, Q says. This is something that I've known, and I talk a lot about all these, we'll call them psychological operations. Got to be very careful with how I phrase my wording about these situations. Q says, most all-powerful organizations have sinister components. With power comes corruption. Like alphabet agencies, not all are bad apples. Should the bad spoil the bunch? Great topic. I had a question yesterday on Twitter, because I was following this and posting about this on Twitter, is that somebody asked me, are all Freemasons bad? And I said, no, not all Freemasons are bad. There's very good people in all echelons, right? All of these upper level organizations, from governmental, political, secret society, corporate control, yes, they're infiltrated by bad people at the top, but you got to understand there's a polarity there. Again, there's good people in these organizations too that are trying to expose things. You know, William Tompkins, if you guys are familiar with him, I interviewed him. His dad was a 33rd degree Freemason. And, you know, I'll go ahead and make the card pop up wherever it pops up of my interview with William Tompkins, or I'll re-upload it if I didn't. William Tompkins being in a secret aerospace think tank and naval intelligence and working in secret space program projects. His dad was a 33rd degree Freemason, but he was a good person. And they actually, the bad Masons, came down on him in certain ways, came down on Tompkins' dad and his family because they wouldn't do the bidding of the corrupted Masons. So again, and there's a long story behind that. Again, there's good people along with bad people in the top of these organizations. Now moving on into some more information that really got 8chan hit hard yesterday. There was a DDoS attack and a lot of hacking attacks on the website because talking about this shooting. Right here, Q says, bottom graphic posting this about the shooter. This is apparently email exchange between the shooter talking about the shooter and a court case a few years ago, back in 2011 and 12, regarding this guy. And then in the emails he was sending, he posted this at the bottom, a coat of arms, you know, looking like some kind of secret society symbol or something to that effect. Q says bottom graphic. Q confirming this post right here. And this post from an Anon is about the brand of sacrifice. You've been now marked with the brand of sacrifice. Those who wear the brand, you know, from the last draw, this nasty stuff. And then Q saying, key is the therapist, weak minds. The use of symbolism to push strength and belonging to something is powerful. These guys are controlled. All these patsies and all these mass shootings, they're literally mind controlled. You hear of MK Ultra. MK Ultra was the CIA programs freaking 40, 50 years ago. You know, they've evolved now. They're much more advanced, intensive, darker, deeper. You know, there's a lot of adjectives we could describe them with, but these programs exist, and this is why I re-uploaded this video yesterday. Again, I'll make it pop up. The stages of MK Ultra Monarch programming. So these are the stages of how it's been said they mind control us, getting this information from Kathy O'Brien. So check this video out. That'll give you a good background understanding into the different ways, the different categories they try to fit us into in mind control programming. And there's a killer programming in there. You know, not fun to talk about, but necessary to talk about. Q saying Haspel, new CIA director Haspel, must find and terminate these classified programs she knows. So good point here is the compartmentalization of all these kinds of programs, whereas the mind control programs, the black projects, the secret space programs, the technologies, in these three-letter organizations, it's so compartmentalized and they're kept so unacknowledged and so hidden that even the directors or the top level, chief of staff officials, secretaries and whatnot, they have no idea where these programs are, who is involved in them, because they're so unacknowledged and compartmentalized and off record, off books. So understand that it's not so black and white. There's a lot of trying to figure out where exactly this information is to get a hand on it. I mean, for instance, the geoengineering programs. A lot of people are talking about those. Why are we still seeing chemtrails in the sky? Well, these programs are so black that these top-level people have no idea where they are or how to get their hands on them, but they will. They're working on it, right? Believe that. Good people. Q saying North Korea is fake news. North Korea has already began denuclearization process under the guidance from the U.S. Rapid. Why are people always being moved around? Think strategy, plan, military operation. So don't be too concerned about whatever the mainstream media is saying in regards to this happening, this happening. Again, when you see information, guys, especially from the mainstream media, but anywhere, even alternative media, Don't take it as true initially right off the bat. See how it corroborates and confirms with other things that are going on. And then you can start to see more so what the truth might be. 1638, talking more about these false flag shootings. Think Bourne, Jason Bourne right there, Truth in Plain Sight, the whole series. That is, going back to my video here, the Delta level, the killer programming. It's for special ops agents or contractors or mercenaries. That's when they ingrain specific trauma-based mind control programs, specific alters into the subconscious of these killers, and they can activate them with symbolism or frequency, voice of God technologies. I think I'll re-upload that video today as well. Lots of ways they can activate these tendencies of these people that they mind control. Covert ops classified, career installed. Think cell. Past drops go missing. Security tests, these boards getting hit hard. Site under attack, info shared, highly sensitive. Again, that's why I re-uploaded that yesterday. Thought it was pertinent. Coordinated effort to wrap up violent attacks, 4chan, 8chan. Poll threads, mods are controlled on 4chan. Staged to frame pro-POTUS supporters. Push violence, share blue, coordinated. Real-life attacks, cause and effect. I think that's what RL means, real life. Not too sure. Cause and effect. MSM outcry to force action. It's already begun. They're calling for a civil war, guys. They're trying to call for a civil war. They're trying to stage operations, violent operations, whether it's that guy driving the truck onto the Hoover Dam last week or the shooting this week to frame, quote, conspiracy theorists or POTUS supporters or whatever the case is. You can see the operations pan out. The Huffington Post already reporting right here, the dark parts of the internet are celebrating the Capitol Gazette slangs. Not celebrating anything, you, I'll say it, fucking assholes. We are trying to expose the truth, okay? Sometimes the truth requires different ways to be brought out, whether it's ways of humor, whether it's ways of just laying it on the line as hard as it be, or bringing it out in softer, easier ways. Different people just have different ways of bringing the truth out, right? So it's not anything to be glorified, people dying, but what needs to be known is the fact that these patsies are forced and mind controlled to do this, okay? That's not conspiratorial. That's the freaking real world. The sooner that we wake up to that and get that truth shared and people understanding that, the quicker we get rid of these false flag shootings. So there's that. What vote occurred today? Full weight of the House. Why is this relevant? Well, that's why they're trying to distract us with these kinds of events. And then lastly, right here, here is a post to a new discrediting Q article by America. Never heard of this site before, but they released this yesterday. QAnon, the path to dictatorship. There's that calm before the storm event that we talked about right there with all the military officials around Trump just a few weeks before Q came out. They try to go into this long bullshit story about why Q is some psyop or crazy or whatever the case. They're even trying to quote Jerome Corsi here, which is odd, you know, calling him a veteran investigative reporter and best-selling author and whatnot. Then this anon saying, by Brock Dorsey with a mention of Corsi. Huh? Bullshit meter off the charts with this one. Q saying, we are waiting for a reporter to ask the ultimate question. What are they waiting for? They can end this at any time by simply asking POTUS, right? We may have to force this one. Q saying, why doesn't any journalist just simply ask the president about Q? Right up there on stage in front of the cameras. Why not? They don't want him to honestly answer it because he would say something, you know, something confirming it, something big, and Q doesn't want that. They might have to force it. So shit, what does that mean? Forcing it? What if Trump wore a Q pin one day right out there for the world to see in front of cameras, or like a shirt or something like that? It being forced like that. Q saying it must happen. Conspiracy no more. Think of every post made. It would force us to prove everything stated to avoid looking crazy, correct? Wow. What do they fear the most? That happening. Public awakening. If they ask, they self-destruct. They know it's real. See attacks. The build is near complete. Growing exponentially. We are the frame. We are the support. We are the public intelligence division, not controlled opposition, right? All these grassroots channels and Twitter handles and things being made. That is the frame of all of this. People will be lost and terrified, and they'll reject it. They'll need to be guided when all this comes out. We're the ones that are going to do that guiding. So truly prepare yourself, guys, mentally, spiritually. Do not be afraid. We will succeed. Timing is everything. Think Huber. Huber's investigation started 2 weeks after Q came out, right? So Q was warning us, guiding us, giving us all preparations for all of those sealed indictments that Huber and his investigative team have been investigating since November. That's going to drop. Q has been guiding us, preparing us to be the way showers for the rest of the population once those indictments come out. Timing is everything. Easy. Think sex, child arrests, and the news. Think resignations, loss of control. How do you remove evil in power unless you reveal the ultimate truth? You can't. You have to. It must be compelling to avoid a divide, political attacks, and optics. So it has to be big and obvious and something they can't deny or try to frame in a different way. We are the majority. We are growing worldwide. Sheep no more, together. So that's it, guys. That's a long video, but I went through all the Q that I wanted to go through. I'll be doing another video later today. And again, catch all the ones that I've been linking and suggesting sharing with you guys. Again, thank you all of you for your support. Thank you for joining on Patreon. Those of you that have, we're going to get a live chat going very soon there. And thank all of you who have been supporting on Patreon, liking, commenting, subscribing, watching these videos over and over again. I love all of you beautiful humans. Take care. Done.